Good morning to all of you. Today is Good Friday. Why do we call it Good and not Holy Friday? Good, I think, in the sense that God did the greatest good for us when He, through His Son, gave up His life for us. Several times we hear in the gospel that Jesus loved His own and He loved them to the end. No greater love is there from anyone than to give their life for their friends. So going to the end, all the way, being ready to die for another person, in other words, to give up the greatest gift I have, which is my life, to give that up for another one is the fulfillment of the commandment to love, and to love one another in a particular way. The cross is about love. Some people may see the cross in various ways. They may see it as a sign of suffering. It may frighten them. Some may even see it as something that's repugnant. But we have to understand it in one way. Having celebrated yesterday the institution of the Eucharist, this is my body and this is my blood, given up for you, it is a sign of love. The cross is a sign of God's love, that Jesus was willing to give up the treasure that is His own life, for each one of us. It took humility, it took obedience to God, and also hope that the resurrection would be the result. But there's more to the cross that we perhaps could think about today. On the cross, one of Jesus's last things that He said was, my God, why have you abandoned me?" The sense of abandonment, and I believe I spoke to this recently this week in one of the homilies, but the sense of being abandoned is one of the most tragic things that any person could experience. But as we're trying to walk with Jesus through this Holy Week, we can understand that He wanted to go that far for you and for me, to even feel abandoned, not only by His friends, not only by those who were His disciples, but also to feel the greatest abandonment by the one He trusted with everything, His Father. Now, the Father did not abandon Jesus, but Jesus sensed that in His pain and suffering. He sensed that even God had left Him alone to suffer, and He cried out for you and for me. We cry out often, why? Why is this happening? Why did this happen? Why couldn't things be different? That why is our why, personally, but it's the why of Jesus in us. That's love. When someone can feel the pain and the joys of another person, that's love. And so throughout this day, and as we continue this journey of not being able to receive the Eucharist or be able to come together as a community to hear God's Word together, perhaps that why is subtly or very loudly in each one of us. Why? Why is this being done? Why do we have to do this? Why is God allowing this to happen? That why has to find meaning in love. Maybe I don't understand by reason why, but I can understand inside why I do things. If I'm suffering, if I'm afraid, say, Lord, I don't understand, but I give it as an act of love to you, to my neighbor, to the church, to build up the church. Our whys have deep meaning. And let's remember that the prayer of Jesus before He died was, Father, may they all be one. And He made that happen on the cross. And that why is a part of it. Why? God sees everything from the point of view of unity. He wants all of us to be one. A friend of mine called me this morning, and as we were talking, she said to me that I'm sure that God, the saints, are happy in heaven that we are all suffering together. Now, God does not want us to suffer. God did not put the pandemic into our lives. But it did happen. It does happen. This is humanity. But what may give God joy is that we're all doing it together. We're going through this together, not just a family, a community, but the whole world, which means we're being awakened to the fact that we are all brothers and sisters across the globe. The pandemic does not show favoritism. Everyone is involved. Whether we have it or whether we are affected by it, we know somebody who's had it or has it. We're all in this together. And when Jesus prayed, Father, may they all be one, he will take every means at his disposal to awaken to us the reality that he wants us all to be brothers and sisters, to not ignore each other, even if we're across the globe, to not ignore each other. This pandemic can be used for many good purposes, but that, I think, is one spiritually. Let's wake up to the fact that we are a human family and that all of us suffer together and all of us can rejoice together, as will happen. The fact that we become more family is what gives God joy, not the fact that we suffer, but the fact that we are awakening to the fact that we are all children of God, no matter who we are, where we are. As we celebrate this afternoon the liturgy of the cross, I would ask each one of you in your homes who are watching that liturgy, either here in Corpus Christi or wherever you're watching from, that you have in your hand a crucifix, that you hold it tight today. Everything that Jesus experienced on that cross, he did it with intention. He did it out of love for me, for you. Nothing happens in life by chance. Let's take advantage of God's love today and not be sad, but to rejoice in the fact that God is a giving God. God is a humble God. He knows our situation, and he is right there with us today as we continue to march through this difficult time of the virus pandemic. God bless you all. You're in my prayers and thoughts today, as always, and I ask you to pray for me too. God bless you.